now, but I'm scared. So let's see if this works. Tell me if it's shaking or doing anything, because it looks like it's shaking on my side when I share. So let's see. Is it shaking for you all as well? It's shaking? Okay, so what I will do is there it is. Okay, it looks better for me now. Does it look good? Now it's good. Okay, cool. Thank you. Look at this interactivity we have going on. All right, so I'm going to, let's see if I can go to the next. Ooh, here it goes. All right, I think we're good to go. I think it needed to just kind of settle in. All right, well, welcome to everyone who is joining us tonight. We're very excited that you are here. This is our highlight of the month. For those who are first timers, DFW Alliance of Technology and Women, we're really just a group of people who support increasing the number of women in leadership, as well as getting more girls into STEM. I don't think we have to talk about how important that is. It's such a passion of all of ours. And it's something that we work really hard on every day to make sure we make that difference. So we're super glad to have you here and appreciate you taking time to spend with us this evening. All right. Our mission is changing the face of technology with women. We're committed to increasing the number of women in leadership and strengthening the pipeline of girls entering technology fields. And our values include inclusive, inspirational, innovative, influential, and interconnected. All right, we cannot do anything that we're doing tonight without these logos you see here, but they are more than logos, they are our partners. We have corporate sponsors and other nonprofit sponsors and other groups that help fuel what we do every single day. If you are here and your company, you don't see your company represented on this page, let us know and we will make sure to get that handled for you so that you can support these groups. All the programs that you see, all the Girls in STEM events and things that we sponsor and put on are fueled by these partners of ours. So we really appreciate each and every one of you. We can't be who we are today without these partners. I don't know what slide is next. I'm just going. All right. So some of the things that we, do through the partnership and the impact that they make is our Great Minds program, which is our Girls in STEM program. Lots of things there, and we're growing, as well as leadership programs. We have, like tonight, you're going to see some speakers, but our monthly meeting speakers and different events, also participating in our annual Executive Leadership Forum, which is our annual fundraiser to help fuel a lot of these programs as well. If you are a partner, you also will be, known. We are a company that assists, we are a nonprofit that assists companies in building their pipeline as it pertains to diversity and women in roles. So if you are looking to partner with some external community partners in order to grow your pipeline in your organization, we would love to do that. Our Women in Transition, we help put them through leadership programs to mentor and educate them, and also they could be future employees for you. And so that is some of the impact that you can make as a partner. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to call on the stage Suzanne. Are you there? She is going to introduce our speaker for the evening. There she is, Suzanne. Yes, so I'm going to leave it to you so that you can introduce our speaker tonight for a quick spotlight for Digital Divas.
All right, thank you so much, Aries. Welcome everyone to our monthly meeting, and I want to introduce a special speaker today from Digital Divas. Elisa Neighbors is here to speak with us. We are providing ATW member volunteers for their upcoming STEM event, which occurs on Saturday the 13th. To tell us a little bit more about our organization and things that we're doing to help them, ATW, as well as expanded help that they'll need throughout the year. So it'd be great to hear more about their organization and what they do, their reach of girls that they reach out to throughout the year for their STEM events. Elisa, I'm going to hand the floor to you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me tonight. I am this year's committee chair of Digital Divas event, which is an event put on by the DFW chapter of Computer Science Teachers of America. It's an organization that supports computer science teachers and CTE teachers all over the United States. So Digital Divas started as a coding competition for the girls in the DFW area, and it's grown over, I think we're getting close to a decade of holding this competition annually between the schools represented in the DFW chapter of CSTA, and it's just grown every year. It started in competition, and then we added a keynote. We added workshops in the morning and moved the coding competition to the afternoon. So many girls that hadn't competed before that we started adding different divisions so that we could have novice, so girls that had never been able to compete before, but had just started taking coding classes, could get that experience versus girls who'd been coding for a while and had a chance to compete at UIL level. Could compete against each other. We had girls who were still intimidated by the concept of competing. So we added a non-competitive track a couple of years ago. So they come and they just do workshops with speakers, which is what ATW has generously provided for our volunteers this year. We have professionals and universities come and speak to the girls about preparing for college, what it's like in the industry, and really get them interested, fired up, exposed to what it could be like to pursue computer science beyond high school. And for some of them, getting into those classes in high school as a first step. And then last year, we started our middle school track, which is a full day workshop led by one of the CSTA officers who keeps the middle school girls for a full day of Python and an artificial intelligence workshop. So that now we're going to have built up that experience that they'll be going to Digital Divas as middle schoolers and then competing once they get to high school and hopefully coming back every year and learning more and getting more and more excited. And since this year, everything that's happened in the past year, we had the opportunity to go virtual. Now it's not just going to be the DFW chapter, but we're collaborating with the San Antonio chapter, the Houston chapter, the Austin chapter. So it's going to be, I think at last count, there were something like 47, somewhere between 47 and 54 schools being represented before, like about 24 hours before registration closed on Wednesday. So it's been a really, really exciting year for us. And we're so excited for ATW to be one of our collaborators. We're so excited that we have volunteers to be our speakers because that is really one of the most impactful things for our students, to see role models who look like them succeeding, who have their, not just who are succeeding in the field, but people who they can identify with, people who break out of the stereotype of, a nerd in a basement that doesn't interact with people, because that's, that doesn't inspire them to go out and make a career out of that. That's what I find a lot about my girls, is they're like, oh, I like coding, but I don't know if I just want to sit and code forever. And they don't understand the dynamic social component that comes when you're working as part of a team. So really getting to hear that from you guys that are doing that is so important. And being able to connect with people in our community is such a great thing for teachers. Thank you so much. I know I've been talking for a really long time. It was such a great opportunity.
Well, I see you've noted on your slide that what you need more of, some more speakers. So you have the event on Saturday. Can you tell us a little bit about that event and how many volunteers have been committed for ATW?
I'm not sure of the percentage that are exactly from ATW because all of our speakers have, the way that we've signed up our speakers, they've identified themselves mostly with their company rather than with ATW as an organization. We have 37 total speakers this year, which is amazing. I think twice what we had last year. So it's amazing. And if we can grow that next year, it gives us the ability to grow our non-competitive track and bring in more and more girls who might be turned off by the competition.
That's fantastic. Do you have any other upcoming events for the rest of the year?
For students, we do have additional competitions that we usually, we CSTA usually meet at competitions through UTD if we're meeting in real life. Usually like our annual meetings, but this is a different kind of year.
Sure.
Our other annual event is our conference with each other, which because of this being so big, we're also having online on the 13th. This is really our big thing until the fall. But we would love to be able to build more relationships. If there are, I'm so sorry.
No problem at all.
If there are, if you would like to see more events like this throughout the year, and you think you could convince more people to sponsor and be at these events, then we would love to have more than one Digital Divas competition per year.
That sounds great. Thank you so much, Alyssa, for your time. I think sounds like there's definitely opportunities for us to continue this partnership throughout the year and provide you with the ATW volunteers to speak at these events. So thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right.
Thank you, ladies. All right, let me get back to seeing if I can share these slides. All right, yes. All right, so this is just a quick note on next month's March monthly meeting. We are celebrating Women's History with technologies and transformations with women in IT. It will be, all of our meetings are always the second Thursday of the month. So same time, same place, and we will be joined by the Director of Technical Innovation of Topgolf, Amy Stevens, as well as the Chief Product and Strategy Officer of Brinks Home Security, Min Kang. Looking forward to that, exciting, and please make sure you register to join us for that. So now I'm going to, oh, I got one more thing before because this is really important. After we get finished here tonight, please join us. We'll probably finish at about maybe 7:15-ish or somewhere around there, but join us for some time. We can get back to the tables, get to know some people, meet people. You know, we are in a virtual life right now. So make sure that you make some connections while you're here. Find out what people do, if they need anything. If you have your company is hiring and people are in transition, have those conversations if you can tonight, and vice versa. So make sure we do that. I will have my happy hour beverage ready for after the meeting. So if you're at home, go ahead and do that so that we can have a good evening. All right, now Join us on February 26th. We will be having our virtual new member orientation. That is a good way to get to know what programs we have, what committees if you're interested in serving on, are there, and you can learn more about what we do as an organization, and maybe how you may want to get involved. It's one of those things where, you got to get in there to experience it and get all of that. So please make sure that you come to the new member orientation if you have recently joined as a new member, or if you're going to be joining tonight, hopefully, and we would love to have you there. All right. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on Jeannie. Jeannie is our new programs director. I'm super excited to have her. She's going to come on and she is going to introduce our speaker. Jeannie, are you there?
I'm getting there. Thank you very much, Aries. Thank you very much, and welcome, Kevin and Robin. I'm going to go ahead and give you a brief description of Kevin and Robin's great careers and backgrounds. So Kevin Green is the Chief Launching Officer in Launch into Greatness, and he is also a professional speaker, certified executive coach, and certified facilitator. Kevin leverages leadership skills that he acquired during his military career, as well as his business operational expertise mastered during more than 25 years of corporate and consulting experience to deliver powerfully insightful keynotes and to deliver distinctively customized breakout workshops designed to engage, entertain, and energize. He's a distinguished Toastmaster. Kevin specializes in inspiring individuals and organizations to achieve excellence. Energizing teams and accelerating the achievement of optimum results is an area of significant expertise. He is certified by the International Coach Federation, certified career consultant, and is a Core Clarity certified facilitator and coach. Welcome, Kevin. We look forward to an exciting evening with you. Robin Coward is part of Globe Life. She's the Workfront product owner and the EMPO resource manager there. Robin is joining Kevin today. Robin Coward believes in empowerment through education, self-development, and the support of like-minded people at work and in her personal life. She has had a career in IT project management for over 20 years and currently serves in the role of Workfront product owner at EMPO resource manager at Globe Life. She holds a master's and a bachelor's degree. She is the proud alum of Prairie View A&M University and a lifetime member of the PVA-MU Alumni Association. She served on the board of the Dallas chapter and continues to work directly with the Office of Alumni Affairs on multiple committees in addition to her alumni work. She has also served as a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and has been a member for 29 years. As a member of Toastmasters International, she has earned the designation of Distinguished Toastmaster and as a member of the American Women's Association and has been a member of the Greater North Texas Alzheimer's Association, the longest day campaign committee. Welcome, Robin, and welcome, Kevin. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to them. A couple of housekeeping things before they get started. Please input all your questions in the Q&A, and we will pick them up as the talk progresses. Robin and Kevin would love to interact with you. So if you would like to pose your question on video, or you can do so. You can let us know if you want to do that. And then once we all finish up, we'll have our final announcements and then take you back to the networking as Aries mentioned. So thank you and welcome, Kevin and Robin. Go ahead and turn on your cameras and mics, and I will go ahead and turn mine off.
Thank you, Jeannie. I'm not sure. There we are, Robin.
There we go.
Let me just check this out. Okay. All right. Go ahead and kick us off, Robin. Okay. Go right ahead.
First, I'd like to thank you all for and Kevin for inviting me to be here. I have actually been to a few meetings and have not been to any recently, but I know that this is a wonderful group and I'm very excited and honored to be here. Kevin called me and asked me to participate in this presentation with him from a woman's perspective, because he was telling me about a speech, and I kept saying, well, what about this and what about this? And so finally he just said, well, come on. So after much work, we decided to do this together. Once again, I'm here with Kevin, and I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. We are chronicling our wildest dreams, past, present, and future. So I'm going to begin with a poem. It's one of my favorite poems ever since I was a child. And it is by Langston Hughes. It's A Dream Deferred. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like a rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? When I think about dreams, and I think about a dream deferred, I always wonder, what's the difference between a dream deferred and a wild dream? A dream deferred, if you think about it, is usually because you lack ability or means or the time, or there's some circumstance that's keeping you from doing that. A wild dream doesn't mean that you necessarily lack it. It just means that something in that realm is beyond your reach. So you may not have the means. You may not have the means that you think you need. You may not have the exact ability, but you have access to those things. But it's still a wild dream because it's beyond what's normal to you. I'm going to take you down through a journey of the past, and we're going to, since it's Black History Month, I'm going to use some figures that are in Black history to connect dreams to wild dreams and wildest dreams. The first person I'd like to introduce you to is Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone was born into slavery in 1832. She was the daughter of slaves, and she gained her freedom by marrying a freedman in 1847. Sarah is her parents' wildest dream. She gained her freedom. That's a wild dream to begin with. But then she went on to become a dressmaker. And while she was a dressmaker, she invented the modern form of the ironing board that we still use today. But at the time, she couldn't read. It was illegal for African Americans to know how to read or learn to read. So she didn't know how to read. But she had been encouraged to get a patent. When she's in her 40s, she finally dared to learn how to read in church. And she used those skills to apply for a patent and was awarded a patent. She was one of the first African American women to earn a patent, and we still use that technology today. Sarah goes from not reading to Mary Jane Patterson. Mary Jane Patterson is the wildest dream of Sarah Boone, because not only could Mary Jane Patterson read, Mary Jane Patterson was the first African American woman to earn a bachelor's degree. She earned her degree from Oberlin College. Her parents were slaves who gained their freedom and moved their children to Oberlin, Ohio, because it was known to have a large community of freed slaves and some fugitives. But there was also a college there that was the first college in American history to actually allow women and African Americans to study and get an education. Mary got her education, which was a dream, and then she went on because she wanted to be an educator. She was the first assistant at what we know to be the first historically Black college in the United States, Cheney. And she also became the first principal at a school that's known as Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C. now. So she achieved her dreams, but then she also was a catalyst to future folks because she was able to create a program for children in the school at Dunbar to actually graduate and become teachers, trained teachers. So she was a catalyst for the future. We go from Mary to Katherine Johnson. Katherine Johnson is more likely someone that you've heard of because she was a hidden figure. Katherine was a member of the group called the Human Computers that did all the mathematics and engineering to launch us into space. Catherine was the daughter of two parents who wanted her to make sure that she got her education. She had achieved 8th grade by the age of 10, but that was as far as she could go where they lived. So her parents moved 120 miles in order for her to get her high school diploma. And then she also went on to get degrees in both mathematics and French. She's determined to be a mathematician. And she had a professor that was also determined to help her become that mathematician. And that degree helped her earn her wildest dream, launching someone into space. How much wilder can a dream get? She also was a catalyst for the other women that she worked with because she asked questions. She challenged the people around her. At that time, women it was shunned upon for them to ask questions. They were just supposed to do as they were told. And most of them did. Catherine didn't. She asked the questions. And she had Mary Jackson as an employee who's also one of the human computers. But Mary was actually the wildest dream of her supervisor, not Catherine, but another supervisor who asked her to join his team because she was almost ready to quit due to the separate but equal accommodations that were being offered at work that were not equal. Mary decided to accept that supervisor, and that supervisor saw her potential and said, you know what, I think you should take some engineering classes. And those classes led Mary to become the first Black female engineer at NASA. So not only was she Catherine's wildest dream, she was her supervisor's wildest dream. And then she helped other African-American women at NASA to advance their careers. So she was a catalyst as well. So let's look again at a dream deferred. Is it really a dream deferred? Or can you just replace a wild dream in that same poem? What happens to a wild dream? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Raisins, by the way, become sweeter. Fester like a sore and run, or does it stink like rotten meat? Both of those make you pay attention. They require action. Or do they crust up like something sugary or syrupy? But if you want to reconstitute something that's sugary that's crusted up, you just add water. So you just have to add more to it. Or if it's heavy and it's a load, you build endurance and strength while you carry it until you make it your dream. Or does it explode? I say dreams explode. Boom. These women are the wildest dream of Sarah Boone, of Mary Jane Patterson, of Katherine Johnson, of Mary Jackson. These are the first women to travel to space in their certain areas. Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman who ever went into space. She's from Russia. Sally Ride was the first American woman to go to space. Mae Jemison was the first African-American woman to go to space. Ellen Ochoa was the first Latin American woman to go to space. I always mess up her name. Chiaka Mukai was the first Asian and Japanese woman to go to space. And finally, Kalpana Chakra was the first naturalized Indian American woman to go to space. So you see, it's not just about us being Black, white, whatever. We are all the wildest dreams of a plethora of women who have done things before us. So I'd like to ask you, whose dream were you? So I'm going to introduce you to somebody you may know. That's right, it's me. I am not the first to go to my college. I'm not the first woman to earn a college degree. I'm not the first woman to be in corporate America. I'm not the first Black woman to be in any of the organizations that I'm a participant in. But I am often the only woman. And I'm often the only African American, which makes me puts me in a place to often be the first to do some things that I have done in my life. But whose wildest dream am I? I am my parents' wildest dream. They did everything they could to make sure that we had a better life, because they grew up in Jim Crow South. They wanted and they saw the doors open. They knew that they could provide a better life for me and my brother. And they did that. And we have achieved success because of that. I am my parents' wildest dream. I am also Sarah Boone's wildest dream and all the women that I've spoken about today. But my mother also had a dream deferred. She wanted to be a teacher, but she was told by a professor that if she ever wanted to pass his class, she would have to perform certain favors. And so she left. She did not pursue her degree anymore. But she wanted to make sure that her daughter never was in that situation. She made me a very strong woman, very outspoken woman, I'm very open and honest about what I do and how I do it. And I do not back down. And that all comes from my mom and my dad. So I can tell you that I am someone's wildest dream. And I want to ask again, whose wildest dream are you?
Thank you, Robin. I think let's open it up. Let's see if we have any feedback. If folks can share their thoughts on whose wildest dream they are. And you all can be invited to come up on stage if you would like to share as well. Okay.
While we're waiting, Kevin.
Kevin and Robin, we've got many people responding on the chat. You know, people talking about their parents, their families. And I know for a fact that I'm an immigrant woman who came to the US to go to graduate school, and hearing y'all speak gave me goosebumps, just like it did Money in the chat. So yeah, we've got a lot of people talking about family members and you know, previous generations of their family, things of that nature. So if anybody wants to come on stage, turn on your mics, turn on your cameras, and come and have a conversation with Kevin and Robin. Or if you want to just speak, you can just turn your mic on.
Please, we want this to be an open conversation.
Yes, that's our goal, is to have a great chat that's enriching and we all can share.
Everybody may have the camera options. Feel free to post a message there that you would like to be on the stage, and we'll bring you up on stage.
Don't be shy. But while we're waiting, Kevin, whose wildest dream are you?
Robin, first, let me thank everyone for, I'm so excited and so glad that we have this opportunity this evening. For me, when I think about that question, I think about—
I figure I'll pop on since my president, she pushed me.
Okay.
I had commented in the chat. I don't know, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't hear you though. Hold on, I did something.
You want to stop sharing the screen so we can see you all?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Testing. No. Okay. All right. I can hear you now. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm definitely my parents' wildest dream. I was, you know, I came from a very underserved area where I come from, where there was nobody doing anything positive as far as I'm concerned. And I was one of the first people in my family to go to college, as well as really accomplish a lot of the things that I've accomplished right now. So I have a lot of people that are cheering me on pretty much everything that I do. Like I have my own little cheerleader section. As far as my family, my sister, like everyone is always like super supportive. But yeah, like definitely, you know, I was feeling the goosebumps as well. I was in the chat, you know, while you were speaking, Robin, because I feel the exact same way. And there was a family member who inspired me when I was about 12 years old. And she said she had this big giant house. She was a professor. She was an extended cousin. And I was like, I want this, you know, I want this because I'm living in a 1-bedroom with 5 people. So we're like, you know, this looks like, you know, the best thing ever. And she said, you need to go to college, you know, and wait till you're 40 before you have kids, which I mean, you know, she was being extra, but this I was 30. But, you know, she really encouraged me, and I, you know, just allowed myself to continue getting exposed to more and more so that I can, learn what the world was actually, what was at my fingertips in the world. So I'll let somebody else hop on if they want to.
Thank you, Aries.
Yes, that was great.
Thank you.
One room and 5 people. Ooh, you better than me.
That was really good, Aries. I didn't know that about you. So I'm Paula, and I also serve on the ATW board. And thank you, Robin. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for your time and just being here. We just appreciate your love, your effort, and the goodness that you bring to all of us just by being here and engaging with us. So wildest dreams, I can say someday, most days. And definitely my parents and my grandparents and my great grandparents, I don't think that they would ever have guessed that I would be here. I'm also an immigrant, first generation. So I feel that we have a lot of immigrants on our board and in our membership, and it's just such a diverse mix of people. So I'm sure that there's a lot of people that could agree that we are our parents and grandparents and our ancestors' wildest dreams. And who knows? I mean, there's still people out there that we don't even know if we're yet, because we haven't even finished making our own individual legacies. So again, Kevin and Robin, thank you. And Tamara, I think you might be up next. So
yeah, I am. Thank you. Thank you. Really, it's very inspiring what you have shared, and I love it. I am my own, I would say, my parents' wildest dream and my own. And I'm an immigrant, and I remember still the moment 10 years ago when I told my parents I want to move here. I don't think I received a lot of positive note on that. I think my dad went on a strike that he didn't talk to me for 10 days. And then it was that night where I had to leave the country for some business trip where we had to talk. So sometimes even a dream doesn't mean things happen positively along the way. It's like you want to take a step forward, but you want to convince yourself that you are going toward the right direction. And you also will have to convince people around you, even though you're not sure what happened at the end of that path, right? Like you're beginning and you are trying to be positive, and you want to put them on board because you want more motivation from their end. So I did have to go through this. And I believe today when I speak with my parents, they definitely are supportive of where I am. So thank you. I love what you have shared. Yeah.
Outstanding. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And I don't want to steal Tamara's thunder, but what I wanted to say, we are all our parents' wildest dreams and our family to cheer you on. But you brought up a very important question to all of us. When there's nobody around you, when there is silence, how do you know you're somebody's wildest dream? And I wanted to ask that to you, because there were a lot of these trailblazers who had this daunting task. It was, darkest hour, and they propelled themselves. They did not know whose wildest dream they are. And there are many, many millions of people right now feeling that. So 2-part question. When there's nobody around you, how do you remind yourself you are somebody's wildest dreams? Number 1. Number 2, how can we all to remind people that they are somebody's wildest dream? Thank you.
Yeah. Robin, would you like me to take that one, or do you want that one? We both can take it.
Yeah, I'll start, because I think that this is an opportune time to spend a lot of time with yourself.
Yeah. This truly has been, yeah.
Without going, too deep into it. But I've been in quarantine since before quarantine was quarantine because of health issues. So I've had a lot of time to spend with myself. And previously, I was asked the significance of homecoming at historically Black colleges because I attended a historically Black college. And that's what made me start to think beyond my parents and beyond my grandmother and beyond whomever. And when I was giving that I was doing a recording and it was posted on Facebook, but I said that I am the wildest dream of the 8 young men who first stepped on this campus, who never knew that this was going to become more than just an institute or land grant school for a few Black guys to go to school.
That's right.
I am that dream. They went from 8 to 8,000, and I am a part of that legacy. And when you start to think about it in a broader spectrum, everything that you do, there's somebody before you that you're standing on their shoulders. You are their wildest dream. You don't have to go far at all.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would add to when the second part of your question, how do you pass on? How do you pass that on to others? Is remind them of where they've come from and whose shoulders they're standing on. For example, Robin was asking me whose wildest dream I am. And I look back, I go back a couple of generations, and I'm the grandson of immigrants and of a Native American who lived on a reservation, who left the reservation in order to find a better life and moved to New York City so that he could have a better life, not only for him and his brothers and sisters, but also for me. He never would dream that I would be doing what I'm doing today. And they probably would think if they could see me today, they would say, you're the wildest dream. But I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to pass that on. And so when you speak to people and you talk to them about where they are today, let them realize that they're really just starting, that there's so much more. There's so much more that they can bring. And so that's what I think that we can do to pass on that legacy to others.
Is there an attribute or trait where you show your welcome to, prop people up, or just being natural but latching on to somebody's dream? You just need to prop them up. How do you all do it, and how can we make that as part of our routine? As we have new members coming in, we have people going through ups and downs, and we meet several people virtually these days. But if there is something that you guys do that really inspires the spark in people, please share. And I thank you for this time.
Yeah. I think if we look at every opportunity to interact with people as an opportunity to push people forward and lift them up, if we take on that responsibility to be that light for people, then every interaction becomes that. And we look for that opportunity for them to share where they want to go, and then we help them to get there.
And genuinely celebrate everything with everyone. There are things that my friends have that I don't have. I don't sit in a place of jealousy at all whatsoever. I'm just like, oh, you go girl, or you go boy. That's me. That's, and I brag about it, and I tell people about it, and I pump them up, and that's what I do. But it's natural. If it's fake, people know it. So find that place of positivity and always look at that, and not to the point where it's, but it helps people to remain kind of in a place of sanity, especially when the world seems crazy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we have one more person there. Okay, go right ahead.
Hi, thank you for sharing, everyone. And I guess I would say I am my parents' wildest dream. So I was the first one in my family to attend college and then pursue a tech career. And I would say I always keep words of affirmation around. And I always think to myself, be the CEO that your parents wanted you to marry. Right. Mm-hmm. So wow. I am my family's wildest dream. So I hope I continue to build others up and along this journey. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you.
My mom always said, have your own money. Don't worry about marrying somebody else. Have your own money.
Yeah,
I married somebody. He's wonderful. Don't get me wrong, but
Exactly.
Okay. I'm going to jump back into our presentation. Do we have someone else? Okay, I'm going to see if we can get back in here. Bear with me. Okay. So when we ask that question, we say, whose wildest dream are you? And thank you all for stepping forward, and we'll give you another opportunity to interact here as we move forward. We want to underscore that everyone that shared, everybody in the room tonight, greatness is within each and every one of us. We each were born with a purpose. We each were born with unique gifts and talents that can help us be great at whatever we do. And what I want to ask you to do right now is take out a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, and I want you to write down 3 letters. And these are the 3 things that I want to cover, and then we'll come back with some more questions if we have time. First letter is P. The second letter is T, and the third is L. I want you to leave some space between each one of them. And I'll go through and I want to talk to you a little bit about each one. So the P stands for purpose. And this purpose is what helps to motivate you, which drives you in everything that you do, that puts things in alignment for you. And I often hear people say, well, I'm searching for my purpose. Well, you know what? Your purpose is that thing that when you know that you're in alignment with your purpose, things just feel good. And so you know that it's going to motivate the decisions that you make, and it's going to make you be a better person when you achieve it. You feel that sense of accomplishment. That's your purpose. So I look at the world of work, and when I look at surveys, it says 87% of people who are working in a particular field may not necessarily be aligned with that role. So that you have 87% that are not engaged in what they really want to do. So how many, and I know, if somebody's sitting next to you, you can't raise your hand. How many would say, hey, if I can make different decisions today, I would make those to make change the way I'm working or living? Okay. Your purpose is your work, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's your vocation. It's again, it's what drives you and helps you to feel that sense of accomplishment. So next to that letter P, go ahead and just write out what your purpose is. Excellent. Excellent. I want to move on quickly to the next letter, which is T, and this is the word talents. Each of us was born with a unique combination of talents that become strengths when we use them to achieve our purpose. And the reason why I want you to look at these 3 letters is because we have our future in our hands. The goal of all of our lives should be aligned with our purpose, and our purpose of life is to have a life of purpose. When I look at many speakers and I look at success, I recognize that success leaves tracks. And that typically is aligned with people using their talents to achieve the most in life. And so people say, well, how do I find out what I'm talented at? How do I figure out what my talents are? Well, one is to work in a strength methodology, get an assessment, and many of you already have those. And so if you do, next to the T, write down the things that you're talented in. If you don't, your talents are the things that when you do them and you do them around people, they say, wow, that was fantastic. And your first response is, oh, that was nothing. That's a talent. That's truly what you are talented in doing. And so when you think about those things, you jot those things down. And so I'm going to stop here and I'm going to ask you about some of the things that you just jotted down as your talents. And go ahead and turn your cameras on and your mics on, and let's talk about those things. Do I need to turn off the... Anybody want to share?
Is it frozen? Because I don't see. Let's see.
I don't know.
Paula's calling.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. Where the chat is live. Optimism. I see chats coming over. Lisa said optimism. Yeah. Making people feel comfortable and loved. Absolutely. Well, I welcome you to come on stage and talk a little bit about how that talent shows up in your daily life and how you use that secret power. Resilience, Erin said. Mm-hmm. Jennifer said empathy and compassion. Lisa has turned on her camera. Lisa?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So I said I was the one that said to make people feel comfortable and loved. I feel that my purpose in life is to helping people and making disciples. And so everything that I do every day, I wake up every morning and I ask myself, how can I make someone's day better?
That's awesome.
Thing that I learned from my father. And it brings tears to my eyes because my dad died about 4 years ago. So, but that was something that he did every single day. He showed agape love to everyone that came into his life. And he always asked that question, how can I make someone's day better? So that is how I live my life every single day. And I do that in my job. I try to show my kids that as well.
Yeah, outstanding. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
I see. Who else has raised their hand? I don't know. Okay.
There we go. I saw another Lisa. There we go.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Did we lose someone? Tamara says, being human. Jennifer, hi.
Hi. I said empathy and compassion.
Yes.
And I find that I'm very intuitive and I love connecting with others and really creating that harmony between us and really listening to others to kind of get a sense of what's really going on for them. And then I love to practice self-compassion with myself so that I can easily share that with others.
Right.
Right. Right.
If
Outstanding.
I can chime in there, Kevin, with Jennifer,
Yeah,
because
sure.
when you say things like that,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to empathy, compassion, those are words that tend in corporate America that tend to be considered weak or not assertive, or we all have heard these words before. You need to be more assertive, you know, this, but I can tell you honestly, I am an empath as well. And I started my job as an analyst. I came in with the analyst title, but I came in with an analyst title with the charge of making directors and people above that do stuff that an analyst probably shouldn't be bugging someone to do because they're really big on hierarchy. But it takes that empathy and that relatability and that compassion to win over some people sometimes to get work done and gain influence. And it's a way to do it without coming across as you're going to listen to me. You know, I'm this, but it's effective.
Yeah.
Never let anybody tell you that it's a weakness, because it's not. It's a strength.
Yeah.
Thank you, Robin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Jeannie said assertiveness is sometimes seen as aggressiveness in women.
Women,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hi, Lisa. We saw you trying to join earlier.
Yeah.
Hi. So I was the one that put optimism. We had a program last year and did a little strength finder ahead of time. And so mine came up as optimism, and I was like, well, yes, of course, because I got to do I did a little stint of doing training, and every morning before I'd leave my hotel room, I'd be like, I have to be cheerful, because you guys know when you're up and speaking, if you're not cheerful, the group just kind of models whatever, right? They're going to mirror it back at you. And so so it was just this mindset I got into a habit of being, and then I started practicing it with my teams, and I noticed the same thing. As long as I was optimistic, I was cheerful, my attitude was positive, it was infectious for others. And I've made that just part of my practice, is just to like be that person that is lifting everybody up and helping them, you know, approach their day with optimism and cheerfulness, and just trying to have that infectious spirit that I hand on to everyone.
Yeah, Lisa, that's great. And if I could just tag on to that, identifying the talents that you have and leaning into those talents, that becomes a superpower. And you've turned that on, and it's infectious, and you turn that optimism into a strength. So I love working with the strength methodology. It's one of the areas of coaching. So just to hear that you shared that is so powerful. So thank you very much for that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Do we have somebody else coming up?
I didn't see another hand.
All right, I'm going to go ahead. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Would like to come up. Hannah, do you want to turn on your camera?
Do we have someone else, Jeannie?
Yeah.
Yes. There.
Can you
Yeah.
guys
okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
All
we
right.
can hear you.
Okay. Well, I was the one who said being social, motivated, and dedicated towards what we do, and eventually help and mentor people who can, who would be wanting our help. But honestly, I'm a student myself, so I know how it feels to be like, and then it's sometimes stressful when people are in school and people will be all over the place. But at the end of the day, it all pays off, and that's something we just have to hold on and be there until the moment. So I'm just a person who believes in being social, and that's one of the reasons I'm here. I was suggested by a person whom I know. She was like, this can be a great platform for me to connect with people because I'm in my graduating semester. And then I know it's hard sometimes in life, but then just holding on and being motivated and working hard will all pay off at the end of the day. And yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It is.
Okay. All right. Jeannie, do we have anyone else that wants to come up and share?
Yes,
I think we have one other person, right?
That is correct.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Great.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi, Kimberly.
Well, thank you. This has touched my heart. And, something I said in the chat was that I love connecting people. But one thing I wanted to mention as you guys talked a little bit more, and when I moved here from Canada, my husband said when we were moving from Canada to Texas in 1998, he's like, now you're not going to be sticking up for anybody over there because they have guns. And I'll always remember those words because it was like, I like to be that random giver, and I think it makes me feel good. And at the end of the day, I don't do it for recognition, but my thing is random acts of kindness. And I love how it makes me feel. So I don't do it for recognition. I still have the granola bars in the back of my car, and I give them to, the people on the street. But I really felt that when I moved. We then moved to South America for 6 years and living in a developing country. And you can have so much positive impact on others by just doing very little things. And so I just wanted to remind everybody, it just makes you feel good to give and not have to be recognized. So outstanding.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what you said, the little things, and there's a slide in here that I'll share in just a minute, but you hit it right on the head. The little things that we do, just think of a drop of water, the ripples that come from that, and they go out and they touch so many people. So that's beautiful. Thank you.
I do, Kimberly, I do that too. Once a month, not now as much because I don't get to go out very often, but I'll pay for the car behind me. So if I go to Chick-fil-A or somewhere, I'll just ask them, give me the bill for the person behind me. I don't care if it's a family, if it's one person, whatever. And I just pay it and keep it moving. I don't think about it. One time a car followed me. and he pulled up next to me. He's like, have I done work for you? Do I know you? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, you bought my lunch. And I said, yeah. I said, just have a great day.
Yes.
And he sat there stunned, but I had to get to work, so I couldn't keep talking to him. But
I love this, but I think we naturally want to connect people, and we do it in business. And sometimes it's just because it makes me feel good. It's not necessarily because I want to get any financial gratification or anything from it. It just makes you feel good. So I just love doing things, and I do a lot of volunteering and for STEM and younger women that are trying to advance their. I have 2 teenage daughters, so that is no surprise. But it's really important, and that's what I teach them: is to just give, because it'll make you feel good.
Yeah. Outstanding. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, this quote by Maya Angelou: if you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. And this group is truly amazing. You all are breaking the mold. You know, when I looked at the percentages of women that are working in STEM careers and working in technology, you all are breaking the mold. You all are not, you are who Maya would have been talking to. And truly, truly amazing for us to be here. I see we're just a few minutes over, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and turn it back over. But I did want to, it's going to go through, and I did want to offer each of you something special as far as working with your strengths and your talents. At the end is my information. Please reach out, and I have a special program that I want to offer to anyone who sends me an email and lets me know that they're interested. And so here it is, and I'll go ahead and wrap up. And just as in closing, I want to say that we each, and I touched on this earlier, we each have an opportunity, and we have the obligation, we have the loaded responsibility of passing our gifts forward. We are the ones who are going to pass on. And I love this quote. It says, "One generation plants the tree, another one gets the shade." And that's where we are right now. So with that, I'm going to close. Ask if there's any final questions. Robin, anything further from you?
I also want to say that with all of our talents, that when you're pouring out into others, don't forget to pour yourself a cup first. Because we as women tend to give and neglect ourselves in the process, because we're more than just corporate workers. We're caregivers, we're mothers, we're daughters, we're, you name it, we wear many hats. So make sure you pour yourself a cup full first before you start pouring out on others.
Yeah, that's awesome. We were actually talking about that, and Robin, again, she pointed out to me, she said, you know, as women, we pass out, we constantly are pouring into each other. So she says, you know, that's something that my Y chromosome was less sensitive to, and she made sure that I stayed on task. So thank you again for that. And thank you all. Somebody just said, somebody asked me to show a slide again. Which one? Jeannie, do you know which one?
Yeah, it is the one you're showing right now.
Oh, it's that one. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, well,
so we're good. We're good.
Okay.
And I'll leave it on there as I speak. So before we get out of the presentation. So guys, if you want to get this information, please go ahead and get it. And thank you very, very much today. It was awesome. I so appreciate the time and all the wisdom. I wrote down a ton of notes. So I'll be going back and reviewing them and kind of, thinking through them and what I can do different with my life, especially, as women. We all know that, we run into challenges taking care of ourselves. With that, I will hand off to Aries. Thank you again, Kevin. Thank you, Robin. And I will hand off to Aries.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. And Jeannie is going to be sending you something special from us, a little love token to thank you for your time tonight. So we appreciate you as well. This is so good. I love this kind of stuff. I'm one of those people that's really into personality assessments and thinking through a lot of this stuff. So this touched me tonight. So thank you so much for your contribution to our monthly meeting. And it was engaging. It was engaging. It was interactive. We don't get that much, in this day and age. So I look forward to that. I am going to be shutting us down. We have a couple little announcements, and I wanted to say, if you are in this audience right now and you are in transition, please put something in the chat with your email and let us know, because we are trying to cater to you and make sure that we use our resources in order to assist you in that search for new opportunities. So put your name and your email. I know I spoke to a couple people earlier who are in transition. And so if you are, name, email, and somebody will get back to you so we can figure out how to help you get through this time. Without further ado, we got a few more, we got some more time to network. So once we leave this area, we'll go back to the tables and grab you a little something, and let's get to network. So thank you again for joining us tonight. We're so happy to have you, and we'll see you next month on March 11th. Bye.